3 weeks ago, I was out here telling y'all there's a Dark Deception multiplayer game in the works. You guys were like, nah, it's April Fool, get out of here. I confirmed it out here day one. I'm telling you, I report facts out here. What is up, SmackNPie? SmackNPie, welcome back to the Dark Deception video. And today is a big day because we finally got the confirmation for something that I was praying for, and it happened. Here we are with Dark Deception multiplayer. Not just confirmation, but official teaser trailer. Now, of course, there isn't much in the trailer that we could use. However, there are some really interesting stuff going around that y'all need to know. So without wasting any more time, let us begin. So back in the April live stream that Vince had, he announced at the end of the questions from the emails that there is a multiplayer in works and it's still early development. He was hoping to show some small footage or something, but people brushed it off, thinking that it's an April Fool's joke. Nobody really noticed because people were thinking he's just April fooling, but I was one of the few, if not the only one, to say no, it's gonna happen. And look at us, y'all. Glow Stick Entertainment posted this trailer on their YouTube account today and tweeted this on Twitter and posted this on Instagram. The game's name is not Dark Deception Multiplayer or anything like that, surprisingly. However, it is called Dark Deception Monsters and Mortals. I tried to do that in Malik voice, it didn't work. I don't know about the name though, it's different, it's very close to game's overall theme. I guess I like it, alright. It's a long name, but you know what? I'm fine with that. Anyways, my prediction back when I made the video on this was, of course, that either you'll play as one of the monsters, like monsters from the game, like Murder Monkeys, Agathars, or whatever, or you're gonna play as Doug Hauser, because he's the protagonist of the main game. Of course, he's the only human. I don't know about the beers though, but he's the only human, or anyone. And you would go around chasing soul shards, chasing soul shards, because shards in this game has to work, otherwise it wouldn't be Dark Deception. And whilst all of that's happening, you can use your powers that you got from the main game, or few of them, to stun those enemies, which will be other players. Just how it works in the normal games, there's always a way to stun the enemies and monsters when you're playing in multiplayer. If not, that wouldn't just make it fun. That would just make them enemies overpowered at this point. Now, things are clear a little bit, and we'll talk about this, but first, let's take a look at the trailer. Okay, first things first, the soundtrack for the trailer is clean. I've never had my doubts for the soundtrack and the composer. This just showed more talent here. Well done, you. Secondly, in the darkness, familiar evils battle for power. You see monkeys, gold watchers, and in the background you can see other chapters gameplay. The key here is, of course, that monkeys from chapter 1, gold watchers from chapter 2 are going to be in this game, which is going to be really interesting for the mechanics, which we'll talk about at the end of this video. However, and new evils join the fray. So this was actually confirmed by Vince himself that there will be some new faces. I apologize for the recent cringe voices that I just earlier, but right after this, we see this clip. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the new gameplay for Dark Deception Monsters and Mortals. Ugh. It looks weird. It may seem like a downgrade from original Dark Deception because, you know, they had fantastic graphics. Here, it looks like a phone port that's still in early development. And guess what? It is in early development. Multiplayer ports, they do usually look like downgraded from the original games. Take, for example, Case Animatronics. The multiplayer mode for that game was so freaking weird looking, not to mention Friday the 13th and so many other multiplayer games that get a port from their popular single-player campaign. It's normal. However, in this case, you can see how tight this pathway is, and this monster is sprinting towards us, headbutting us face first, and then the jump scare, sprinting towards us like he's some kind of national team captain of NBA or something. Then you see this. Will you prevail. And then we get more confirmation on who's in the game. Agatha from chapter 2, clowns from chapter 3, duckies from chapter 3 as well, and then you see the logo and finally Malik's laugh, so that confirms Malik is in the game as well. It's like Smash, who's in the game? Everybody's in the game. So even in multiplayer, he's the devil and the rest of the gang are either monsters or mortals. Dang. Now of course there is no date given, and I'm glad they didn't, because y'all know how they do out here with them dates. But this is weird. This is really weird. I'm so happy that this thing is now real and it's happening, but at the same time I feel off. Like this should have been out right after chapter 3, not the game itself. Like hype, announcements, trailers, all of that. That would have diverted people's attention to this, and whilst everyone is waiting for chapter 4, we would have had this experience to kill hype and enjoy. But it is what it is, which brings me to my next point. Y'all might be wondering, okay, we get it. How does this work anyway? Don't worry, they gave us a bit more info on this gameplay. If you go into the descriptions, it says this: Dark Deception, Monsters and Mortals is a multiplayer horror game where players take on the role of dark deception monsters or mortals and fight each other in nightmarish mazes for soul shards. A few guests are joining the fight as well, coming soon. So this is a lot to digest. I understand. We know who monsters are, the monsters that we've seen in the main game, like Agatha, Murder Monkeys, Gold Watchers, all of the good stuff. But mortal in the original game is Doug Hauser. Malik is the devil. Beers isn't in the game apparently, so that means either, and this is just a speculation, either there are gonna be lobbies for mortals versus one monster, means humans versus one monster, one versus one, like mortal versus monster, or a bunch of mortals versus bunch of monsters. Basically players like Doug Hauser or other humans that Beers experimented on, the whole devil doo-doo stuff, versus monsters, aka Murder Monkeys, Agathas, Gold Watchers, clowns. You get my point at this point. If I get the choice, I'm becoming Agatha hands down, or monkeys. The reason is, and I'm assuming this is where the mechanics parts comes in, I'm assuming they're going to act close at the very least to their mechanics from the original game. If not, I'm still choosing Agatha for my first match. However, if they do, can you imagine players constantly looking at Gold Watcher's direction and he's just stunned there? He can't do anything, which is why I'm playing safe and I'm getting that girl Agatha. That sounds like a pedo thing. I'm gonna retrace my steps and I'm gonna say I'm taking monkeys because FBI is gonna be here anytime soon. Anyways, we will be in the nightmarish mazes, so I believe same maps with additional stuff here and there, which would be cool. I'd like to see multiplayer in the hotel because that's gonna be clean. We know how the chapter 2's Gold Watchers part is gonna be going. That's a perfect maze for the multiplayer level. That is a perfect, literal perfect map for the multiplayer level, both the maze outside and the manor itself. School is also a good thing. Agatha is clean. I'm still unsure if they're gonna add chapter 4's maps in there as well. This is why it's weird, because chapter 4 is yet to be out, chapter 5 is yet to be out. So are we supposed to wait before or after? You know what, I'm gonna talk about that at the end of this video before ending. But anyways, we will be fighting for soul shards. Now it is understandable for mortals to get soul shards, not sure about monsters though, because you know, our objective is to go out there, get soul shards, and get our app sizes back home. That's our whole objective, and I believe this is how it's gonna go. Monsters' objective would be to kill all the mortals, all the human players that is out there. That's gonna be Monsters' objective, just like back in Friday the 13th. If you are Jason, you can't let anyone escape. That's your objective. Here, I believe this is the same thing, but here's another layer that could just change the dynamic. Let's say we are talking about some mortals getting soul shards. What if we choose monsters versus monsters? I want clowns versus duckies, or clowns versus Agatha, or Murder Monkeys versus Gold Watchers. How would that work? Are monsters themselves want soul shards too? Because that's some next level theoretical philosophy that we need to discuss in some other video, but it's a weird thing, it's a weird dynamic, and only they, Glowstick Entertainment themselves, can provide the answers for this. I can only say it's basically humans versus monsters, monsters versus monsters. I don't think humans versus human would work, but human versus human, if that's an option, I will take that as well. Now, huge announcement for all of you out there. As soon as the release date announced for the multiplayer, Dark Deception Mortals and Monsters, I will announce for all the people who wants this game to come and play with me, because you will know we will be doing this multiplayer thing every week. I will play with either YouTubers as guests or you guys weekly. We can do lobbies even off camera as well, because this is one of the only multiplayer games I'm looking forward to. Glowstick Entertainment, please do it right. With all that said, I couldn't be more happier. We just have to wait and see what happens happens with the release dates, because chapter 4 needs to come out first and then multiplayer. But hey, that's my opinion. I personally believe it's coming out in 2020's late 2020, like right after chapter 4, or early 2021, who knows. But do let me know your thoughts down in those comments below. Stay tuned for double upload tonight. I'm in a freak mode today. Subscribe. Thank you. Bro, that's cringe. Just stop. I need to stop. Why am I still recording this?